Alex, thanks, man, for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man, for having me.
First of all, how have you been? Tell me.
I've been good, man. I've been really good. Just been working and trying to do as much as I can. With balance and everything comes discipline and time management. But I think I've gotten the hang of things. So just working ever since the last time I saw you.
Absolutely, bro. Yeah, and I see the work you put in. It's really good.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the compliments.
Yeah. So tell me, if I were to go to high school with you, and let's say I sat in your English class, what kind of a guy were you?
It's funny you say that because I feel like, through the time that I've been growing and just changing into the person that I am now, back in high school, I was way more introverted. You know what I mean? Like I was still doing the same things. I was still getting my work done, getting involved, but I wasn't putting myself out there and trying to, be a go-getter in that sense as I am now. And I feel like that came with the practice that I gained through doing different things and getting involved myself in different, areas of life, not just with school, but with the people that I surround myself with, the type of work that I get into. So back in high school, definitely I was way more introverted. I wasn't like talking to people as much. I still had the same social skills, but they weren't as developed. So definitely I was more of the quiet kid. That's why it's funny you say that. A lot of people nowadays, when they like run into me or see me or run into my Instagram, they're like, holy shit, like this is Alex.
Yeah.
Like he went from this like short little kid to like this tall guy with like tattoos, and he's doing this, and he's in the medical field, he's in music, he's meeting all these people, he's just getting himself out there, and it's admirable, I guess. So,
Yeah,
things change, but they always change for the better.
Yeah, definitely. They do. So tell me, post high school, so 18 years old, you graduate. What did you do? Tell me.
So I went to high school in Clark, in Clark Magnet. That was in La Crescenta, and I graduated like around the age of 18. I was kind of one of the younger people in my class. After that, I went to UC Irvine, but before going to UC Irvine, I did my prereqs at PCC, Pasadena City College.
Right.
I did my associates in biology. From then on, I transferred into UCI as a public health policy and public health science double major with the, goal of getting into the medical field. And when I went to UCI, I got involved, just to like open my social skills and try to get involved in more things to make the best out of my college experience. I joined the fraternity. So I became a part of Sigma Pi. And with that, not only did I party, but I also got involved with the philanthropy side of things.
Right.
So raising money, doing things for a good cause, meeting people and organizing events. It was a very good way of marketing myself and also like getting involved in doing good things for, the community. So I made a lot of connections there, and I still have those connections to this day, whether it's, in the healthcare industry or whether it's something that I can utilize in music. We have this big network of people that are part of the fraternity all around the US that I can always reach out to. And then besides that, I did get involved with my pre-med club in UCI. So used that so I could do some research there. And I got involved with geriatric program. I worked in the UCI hospital. I got involved over there at Spine Zone, which was a medical fitness clinic. So I did my work there and make the best basically of my college experience. So after that, when I finished UCI, I was geared towards going into the medical school side of things. I applied to be a physician's assistant, but I just got waitlisted everywhere. So, with the discipline and perseverance, I didn't let that like put me down. I could have reapplied and took another year, but I just decided to change and go into nursing. So I went into nursing, and here I am now. I'm doing my nurse practitioner program. I'm trying to get into orthopedic sports medicine, and I really like it. It's really fun. I don't have much left to do. I'm almost done. So that just goes to show that if something doesn't work out the first time, you shouldn't be discouraged, and you have to always like work hard and try to figure something out that you can do differently so you can always get to your end goal.
Absolutely. And it's said, you can learn about a lot about a person through what their profession is, what they do for a living. So out of all the things you could have majored in college and going into the medical field, which is amazing, it's very impressive. Why did you decide to do that instead of, let's say, anything else?
To be a part of the medical field.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I like helping people. I like being selfless. Besides, obviously, like the stability part of it, because there's always a need for healthcare providers and practitioners and whatnot. I want it to be someone that has the power that can help others and give back to people, especially, in this kind of situation that we live in where there's a lot of things that are going on. And I just want to be that person that can make the change in some people's lives, whether it's like 100 people, 1,000 people, or 10,000 people within my career period of time until, like, let's say I retire or what happens. I just wanted to get into a field where I can, give back. And it's fun. It's fun. I can give back. I'm always on my feet. There's always something new to do. It's very dynamic. And, I always learn different things. And the field itself, it's always changing. So just keeping up with the research and what happens and the things that happen in the healthcare industry and the healthcare system we have today is really cool. So, and kind of putting my emotions aside more and being there to actually help the people that are, there for my assistance and for my care, because a lot of those people that are there, you have to think of it like you're their savior, because you might be the last person that they see before they pass. So what can you do within that time period that you have with them to make their lives better, or to change something that they can be grateful for, whether it's even something as small as bringing them a cup of water or hearing them out because they might have just ended up there because of a drug overdose. So like you said, really, like, from a young age, I kind of picked up on the value of life and what it really means to be a good person. So I utilize those selfless skills and personality traits within my experiences from that point on, and kind of just like delved more into it.
Very impressive. Let me tell you, at
Thank you.
16, I wasn't doing anything close to that. So I really admire that.
Thank you.
So what would you say, in your opinion, going to nursing school, like you told me, what would you say is the most outdated thing in medical school today that they could do away with?
Specifically with like medical school in general, not only nursing school,
Right.
I probably would say, I don't know if you would consider this outdated, but a lot of times nowadays, like, people go to the hospital or they go basically seeking medical care.
Mm-hmm.
And the way, like, our insurance system is working, it doesn't really, like, make sense to me, because a lot of people, let's say, if you go to the doctor to see, like, get your colon checked or, get an MRI, and they don't have a certain kind of insurance, well, they're not going to be favored to be like a patient, because they have to go through more like authorizations and they have to wait for a longer period of time to receive the same kind of services that someone else gets, because they are paying for, their insurance. And, like, it puts other people at more of like a liability within themselves, because they're not obviously getting the help or being attended to like they should. Healthcare nowadays, I feel like, should be more, universal, and people shouldn't be looked at based on like, oh, who can give more profit to, the pharmaceutical companies or the hospitals or the doctors. And it should just be something that everyone can have access to within equal amounts of time. Like, I even work at a place right now, and sometimes whenever we schedule people, they have to wait within like for 3 months to really come and see a doctor. And then within that 3 months, let's say if you have some kind of like, debilitating disease like multiple sclerosis, it's going to get worse. You know what I mean? You need that care fast, and you need to get the drugs and the medicines and the care that the doctor provides. So having that 3 months period where you're just kind of waiting around isn't really like beneficial, nor is it smart. So I feel like something like that should change so people can be attended to at a faster rate.
Yeah, absolutely. And just out of sheer curiosity, I mean, unfortunately, we do have a huge opioid epidemic in the United States. Very sadly. Have you had experiences with people that have those problems? Because it's a big killer.
With opioids or drugs specifically, no, but I have had experiences within my public health major, learning about that, and just being involved, working at an organization where we kind of went to those like lower class kind of impoverished areas and tried helping those people out with the drug addictions that they're facing, and tried basically reaching out to them and telling them that we're not here to imprison them or take them put them into the judicial system, but to really like be there for them. So I kind of put myself in that place where I could see that and I can help out with those people. But I never had like a firsthand experience where, I had to deal with someone who was facing some sort of like drug addiction.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was during my time when I was in UCI. So in college, we had to like pick somewhere where we can go. And I went to Skid Row with like my classmates, and we were basically out there like, giving this drug called Naloxone. And it's basically for people who are overdosing, so that you have to like give it to them. So then it reverses the effect of basically the drugs that they take. The stimulants. Yeah.
Is that still used today, that drug?
Oh yeah, it's very popular. Like nowadays, kind of going on to what I also do for fun with music, they give this drug basically out to almost at every festival, and they promote the use of it as much as like people can, versus like having people go and overdose and die. They're like, oh, this drug is available. It's out there for you. You should take it. It's going to help. So definitely they do. And it works. It's like the Tylenol of, like opioids. So it helps for sure.
So just to clarify, when you're at music festivals, they advertise that drug so no one could have like an adverse effect on anything?
Oh yeah, no, definitely, for sure. Wow. They definitely advertise that drug, and it's available everywhere. And given at maintenance or, just being passed around, and all the people there at security, all the doctors and whatnot, they all have availability of it.
So, what I see you just as a friend, everything you do, you're always involved in music in one way or another. You're always somewhere. I'm like, this guy never sleeps, does he's every day he's at a different event. It's very impressive. What got you into that?
So I didn't want to be like that person that's kind of like narrow-minded. Sure. And just like, okay, I'm going to just focus on this, do this, finish it, and then move on with my life. I kind of sat there and was like, okay, what can I do to get myself involved? And this was kind of like, during that time of growth that I had from high school to like now. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, I'm big with music. I like music. It's good to have a hobby that you can get involved in that makes you happy. And also like, it makes you connect with other people in like similar matters. So I definitely got involved with music, and I started going to all these events. Funny enough, I was going to these events before I was even 18, but that's a different story. So I got into the raving EDM community scene. And then at first I was just, going to the events, meeting people, just making friends and having a good time, because I wanted to do something besides going to the gym and being like, school-oriented person that can make me happy and, just give me some kind of time where I'm not thinking about any priorities or any kind of things that I have to do, and just having a clear mind. So after that, I really started using my Instagram and leveraging that into doing something more than just, having fun. So I started working in the basically nightlife business, mm-hmm. and I got myself involved through my Instagram with a lot of the clubs here in LA, like Academy, Exchange. There's a club in San Diego called Nova. So over there's one in OC called Time. So I basically reached out to them, told them, the type of person I am and how eclectic I am and the type of people I know and have met and what I can bring to the table. Mm-hmm. And I told them that I'd be interested in doing guest relations and services for them. And they told me to come on board. And now I just utilize that and I make the connections that I do and just try to have fun with it. And it's very fun because we go to all these different events and I just bring people and, sell tables and sell tickets. And then we meet different artists and we just have a good time. And it's just a little period of time in my life, within the week that I have that I can kind of like unwind and do something that makes me happy, even if it's not like something that's paying me big bucks, but just something that nourishes and gives me that dopamine and serotonin that sometimes, you lack because you're so focused on doing things like going to school, working, going to school, sleeping. You know what I mean? It's that little time that you have to yourself where it's a hobby that you're finding for self-fulfillment. Hopefully in the future, it can be something that makes like a full-out career. And then that I can really focus on after my nursing school. We could talk about that more after as well.
Absolutely, yeah. GaryVee, as you know, he talks a lot about the importance of social media, leveraging social media to your advantage. Mm-hmm. How important would you say Instagram is to marketing yourself, or not just yourself, either yourself or whatever business it is you're trying to get in?
Well, in that aspect, nowadays, everything being online and being, behind the click of a phone,
Hmm.
I feel like Instagram is a very big, powerful tool. Also, with TikTok being like another big one that people can utilize and they can put their energy and efforts to. In one aspect, if let's say, you come at me and we have this little conversation, whether it's, in the store or outside or what have you, and like I just met you randomly
Right.
and then you come and you tell me like, oh, I do this, that, and we just have a little conversation. And all I'm gonna know from you is that 10-second conversation, like, who is this guy? But then you're gonna be like, oh, hey, you have Instagram, let's connect. You give me your Instagram, I give you my Instagram. I go on there and I see, oh, this guy's doing this, he's doing that, he's involved in these different types of things. So I see it kind of more like a little resume. I don't see it as much as like, oh, I'm just having fun posting whatever I'm doing, but it's more like a little resume. So when I actually connect with people that have like-minded uh, things that they get involved in
Huh.
and basically similar kinds of priorities and interests, they see that I'm doing the same thing, so they can really like know that I'm like a serious person and I'm someone worth working with. So that's how I leverage my Instagram within the angle that I go to. Besides all the fun things that I also do, that I feel like is really important, and people can definitely use their Instagrams to that advantage as their resume.
Absolutely. What would you say is the number one thing they could do to leverage their Instagram, and one thing you would recommend they don't do when they want to leverage their Instagram, market themselves or their business, etc.?
Personally, from my experience
Yeah.
and from like, what's worked out most for me, I I really like, picking a couple things or a couple niches, if you will, and mainly focusing my Instagram posts to that. And well, when you do that and you keep doing it, the following base that you definitely gain and that grows within time, people notice that like, oh, this guy's serious. He's doing this, he's doing that, he's being serious about his craft, and it's someone that is worthwhile to follow and someone that's like worth putting the attention and the time to. So let's say if you're involved in like sports and you like basketball, soccer, and football, well, you can keep posting about those different kinds of sports and then the types of services you give to others in those three fields. And when you keep doing that repetitively and people see that you're really like passionate about it and driven, then they find that like, oh, you're someone that's worth following and learning more about. So then you guys connect on Instagram, and then you try to give them your services and they give you yours, and then it's like a mutual symbiotic kind of relationship. And then from then on you make connections that you can use to other things. So like, who knows, maybe like one day I can use like all this music stuff and whatnot, and then connect with someone that's like in the sports industry, and just anything can happen with Instagram. Even with TikTok, it's another thing where people nowadays, they are always on the go and they have short attention spans. So that's why TikTok is really good, because people make 6-10 second videos and they post something that's, relative or beneficial to the public, and then people connect with it and it just goes from there. So
Absolutely. And what would you say is the number one thing people shouldn't do if they're trying to market themselves on Instagram?
I personally would tell people not to come off as too arrogant and
Hmm.
like not to come off as too like cocky, but to kind of, show people that you're still human. And just because like something might work out or something might go in a certain way that you like, to not, forget about where you started from. You know what I mean? For example, like I have a friend who is like up and coming, and not going to mention names, but
Yeah.
he's a DJ now. And he started from like being a bedroom DJ, and now he's getting mentioned and recognized by people like Calvin Harris and Alesso and
Wow.
whatnot. So like it's definitely, working for him. And also his TikTok's also contributing to that. But because he is still, gaining this fame and popularity and whatnot, he's not forgetting about where he started and his like beginnings. So he still connects with his fans the same way. He still talks to people the same way. He still has that humble attitude. So one thing I would like tell people not to do is to kind of lose yourself in that, fame and like popularity and like that tangent of where you're going, and still realize that you started from somewhere, and those people that helped you grow to where you are now are the reason why you grew to where you are now. So you should still be the same person you were from day one.
Absolutely. And I would really think that if your friend, as you mentioned, he's still genuine with his fans, he's still kind, not only do you grow your fan base, but you really keep a core group of believers, is what I'd like to call people that believe in you and what you do. So it's good that he leverages it that way. And not just him, anybody else that would leverage social media in a genuine way.
Yeah, of course.
Because we want to see, I don't think people want to see just a man or a woman behind the screen. They want to see a real person that goes through real
Personality.
life. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Personality, real life experiences.
Someone that could change, evolve, someone that has a personality, is personable, is kind, and humble, and is approachable. Because, like you said, you definitely have to have those kinds of characteristics so you can have those real followers and real like fans that really appreciate you for who you are.
Absolutely. And so tell me that you're in guest relations. And so, of course, you see a lot of clubs, you see a lot of places, you go to a lot of events. What would you say makes an event great?
Like an event that like I work at, or an event that I go to have fun?
Either way you want to answer it.
Okay, I'll answer both. No
Okay.
problem. So, like, if I'm working at an event, personally, I would like, I think what makes it good and what makes something successful is not only, having a lot of people there, because it's good when you're like in the club scene, when you pack people and you sell tables and you just get people there that are there for the fun, not only for the drugs. But
Oh my God.
besides that, I like having people at those events that are, really enjoying themselves and really like connecting with the artist and the artist connecting with them back. And then I like having something that's kind of organized, something that runs the way that we plan it to, that we sell a lot of tickets for, and basically having a lot of engagement. Because when you have engagement in this kind of industry, you bring those people back, that they'll come to a future event, or they'll come to a future party, or they'll follow you on Instagram, they'll follow your Twitter. So they see like you're someone that's, there not only because of, the money and the profit for it and whatnot, but someone who's there actively trying to like make a good time and have like a nice time, pretty much. So I feel like that's like something important that you should look into when you're getting involved with this. Like, how can I make these people have a good time and, have basically a memorable night? And how can I make these people retain my connection with them? So in the future, when something else like this happens, I can call these people again, or better yet, they call me and they ask me like, oh, can I get a table? Can I get access here? I'm coming with a group of these people. I'm coming with a group of 5 girls, 4 girls, and whatnot. And an event that I personally went to that I really liked, probably one of my favorites, like what would have probably been Tomorrowland. I went to Belgium. This was right before COVID, so I went with one of my friends, and it was in 2019.
Okay.
We like full sended to Europe, and we went for like 2 weeks. We went to Tomorrowland, we went to Amsterdam, we went to France, and we kind of did a little bit of everything. But the event itself, Tomorrowland, was really cool because one, like it showed that this music industry is never going anywhere anytime soon. Because I saw people there like even in the age of 40, 50, just enjoying themselves.
Wow.
And like being there without even being on drugs or what have you, and just kind of, reliving their youth, if you want to put it that way. I met Armenians there from France and met a lot of bunch of girls, bunch of guys, and just we had a really good time just kind of connecting with music. The event was cool, definitely really nicely handled. A lot of stages, the food was great. The food was made by like top tier chefs, and then like even the bathrooms were clean. So a lot of things like, events here in America can kind of take note on. But besides that, like it was overall a really good vibe, and it really like showed me that this industry is only going to evolve and people are there for a good time, not a long.
Do you see the industry getting even bigger in, let's say, 5 years from now?
No, yeah, for sure. I definitely do think that music is something that's always changing, whether it's like, changing in the fact that old things are coming back, with things that were cool back in the day, like let's say when disco and house and whatnot and funk music was popular in the 80s, or new things are coming back where like people are making some sort of new genre or new sound. And with that, it's bringing new, like a bigger crowd, a different crowd. And I feel like in 5 years, a lot of things can change. And even now, like I have a friend, he's getting involved with his buddy, and they're doing this thing called VR. So it's like a way where basically people like us can, tune in to like a set that a DJ is playing behind like, their
Oh,
equipment
okay.
from their house without even having to be there, using, virtual reality. And it's kind of
Yeah,
cool. So I personally haven't been in uh, experienced that, but I've seen how it happens, and it's really cool how like something like that goes around.
absolutely. And from your experience, what would you say makes an event not good?
Uh, what I would say makes an event not good, probably besides the fact that like just the way it's kind of handled, like a lot of like nitpicky things can always be focused on besides the like music, whether it's like the parking situation and crowd control, where there's times where I've seen, because of having been in this industry and just going to events since 2014, people jumping gates or people hurting themselves to get in, or people sneaking things in that they shouldn't be sneaking in. So just, the crowd control and organization of events can always be something that can change, whether it's a good event or a bad event. And then like something that you really can change, it's kind of basically an opinion thing, but like some events kind of attract different people versus others. And then like those people that are being attracted, they're there like more for like drugs and just not the right reasons. But
Right.
at the end of the day, you can't judge anyone. We're all having fun in our own way. But just I don't know, like if I was to be someone that can sit there and think about why that's happening, I would. But it is what it is. Like some events attract different crowds versus others. That's why there's more injuries and incidents. So something like that I would change to kind of gear more people towards like the love for music. Like how I said in Europe, people there are more for music and connection and go like bonding, versus here it's like, oh, let's go smoke weed and do drugs and get high. It's it's totally fine. It's just
Yeah.
funny. It's hilarious. It's funny to me because like that's how people like to enjoy themselves. Then so be it. As long as they're having a good time. That's why the music industry doesn't say like, oh no, you can't do drugs. People bring drugs, but that's why they have the Naloxone, which is something that can reverse the effects of opioids or MDMA or what have you. So in case someone's having like a bad trip, that they have help that there's available to them. You know what I mean? Another thing about having events that basically I would look and change if something was to be affected, like the way they kind of cater to the crowds, in the sense that like sometimes when you want to go and see this DJ or you want to go to this show or this event,
Yeah.
they sometimes like to oversell tickets, and they do that because some people sell their tickets, or some people use this program. It's called scalping. So like let's say if you're a scalper and you're not really trying to go to this event, you can go and like wait for the Coachella tickets to go on sale and just buy like 20 of them or 30 of them with the program, which takes away the opportunity for those who are going there to actually have a good time and to make memories to really go. And then now because of the scalper, because he's using some sort of bot program, someone else that can't go to this event has to pay like double the price because they're buying the ticket resale instead of having the opportunity like everyone else should to attend the event. So something like that I would kind of attend to fix, so we don't have the scalpers that are ruining it for others. Same thing happens in the fashion industry, where like Yeezys drop and then like all these people go there and use these scalping programs, buy the product, and then now everyone pays like $700 for a pair of Yeezys when in reality it's like 150.
The same thing does happen, I believe, in the gaming industry, right? With the PS5 when that came out, I heard that was going on a lot, scalping.
Yeah, people just buy the product just to buy it, and then like they just take that advantage to resell instead of doing something that's humane.
Right, right, absolutely. And not reselling at like a reasonable price. They just resell at like a ridiculous price.
Yeah, they just want to make money just to do it.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of Martin Shkreli. Okay, let's say there's a 18-year-old guy or girl. They just graduated college
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to find their place in, let's start with the medical field. We'll get in the music business too, but they want to get into the medical field, but they're not sure what they want to do. They're not sure how to approach it. They're not sure what specific branch in the medical field they want to get in. Uh, what would you recommend for them to do?
So first and foremost, I mean, when you're young, things always change. So like you said, at the age of 16, you personally weren't know what you're doing and you weren't in the same kind of mindset that I was. But for someone like that, that they have some sort of idea that they're going to be in the medical field, I would personally tell them and advise them to first reach out to like a career advisor, like maybe a counselor or someone that's, in that field, that they can gain some sort of insight if this person has no idea what they're doing at all. If they do have some sort of background, I would definitely ask them and advise them to reach out and get their foot into volunteering somewhere, because if they can volunteer in some sort of a medical program, whether it's a hospital or some sort of like rehab facility, then they can get involved and start working and being there, physically present, where now that person that is trying to get into this field knows what it takes to be, whether it's a doctor, a nurse, a physical therapist, or what have you. And they kind of see and feel it out and see if it's something that they want to do. If it's not something they want to do, it's very easy. They can always change and volunteer in something else, because it's good to volunteer and to do a lot of community service from the beginning, especially in the medical field, where, definitely if you're trying to like pursue it and get a degree and education in it, it's not easy. Because like being a doctor, let's say, for example, average doctor takes 12 years. So you don't want to go into like, dermatology, which is like the study of the skin and the integumentary system, and like half of your education later, you just drop out. You know what I mean? You rather have all those things taken care of at an earlier age and know that this is what you want to do and you're going to go full force into it and just finish it. So at the end of the day, biggest takeaway in the medical field is to have the discipline for it, because you're going to be in there for a long time, and to really do your due diligence prior to that, so then you don't waste time and you don't waste money and what have you. Because a lot of things like tuition can also take another big toll into your expenses and your time. You don't want to like take the tuition to go somewhere and then like change your mind later, but be stuck with paying loans.
Yeah, some people sadly get stuck with paying loans for the duration of their life. So
definitely.
And then what would you recommend? Let's say someone is young, they want to get into the music industry. But what would you recommend is like some practical steps they can take? Because I want to help. If there's one person watching this that wants to get into the music industry, I want to help that one person.
So someone who's kind of like got my foot in that door, personally, I would like, encourage them to kind of first and foremost, if they already don't, which I'm surprised that if they wouldn't, because I'm sure that they would, because they have the interest to be in this industry. First and foremost, to go to the music events, to try to be very social, talk to people, just, be friendly with everyone. Everyone has a story to tell. So just, communicate with everyone, get yourself involved, just be there, show up and see what you can gain, whether it's like not only being there for the fun and to listening to music, but also, connecting with other people, seeing how you can benefit them, how they can benefit you, how you guys can work together. Let's say if I go to an event and I'm new, this is what I would do. Like I would go and then like, I would try to like finesse myself into meeting people that like don't really know who I am, but because of the way I portray myself and, the enthusiasm I bring, then they would be down. So I would go and I would tell them like, oh, hey, I have this platform and I like to do this. And we have like diamond mirror booth with my friends, so I can bring this into your clubs and I can utilize this. And, oh, I know this guy on Instagram. I know that guy on Instagram. So let's work together. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then they'll be like, okay, DM me your resume or email me your resume. And then from then on, I got my position into guest relations and working with that. And like tomorrow, we're going to be working at Academy LA with this big DJ. His name is Gesture. He's really big, like in EDM. And he's played places like, EDC and EDC Mexico and EDC Orlando and a lot of big clubs. So he has this event called Group Chat. It's their 1-year anniversary. And it's going to be happening at the Academy nightclub here in LA. And I don't even know how they found us, but I guess like whatever we do works. My friend, who's also my partner in our Diamond Mirror booth, hit me up and said, hey, do you know this guy? Like they just booked us for our, our mirror booth. And I'm like, bro, holy shit. Like this guy has like millions of followers on Instagram and I love his music. And we're going to be there tomorrow. So that is more like what my friend does. He uses SEO, marketing. And with SEO marketing, you basically use keywords and different things that, let's say you go on the Google network and you type like music production or mirror booth or like rave. And then like when you do that for a Diamond Mirror or Mirror booth, we're like the first thing that pops up on Google. So a lot of these big, events, like I worked at the Super Bowl. I worked with
Wow.
with Phase. I worked with I actually worked with GaryVee, and
How was that?
it was good.
Working with FaZe and GaryVee.
Yeah, it was very good. Like from everyone that I work with, I try to gain a little bit of knowledge and insight and see how they like to think. And I just like to, I don't, look at people like, oh my God, it's Gary Vee. I look at him like he's a normal guy like I am that did something that I can learn from so I can do that in the future. I don't, get starstruck, but it's very cool and very admirable that they are who they are and they've made it. So that's how I like to take that, experience. So besides, Super Bowl, him, Manny Koshbin, a lot of things like, we do a lot of wedding events and whatnot. But recently we got hired and we worked for Insomniac, which is like a big, music thing.
It
that,
is, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
do all the raves and everything here in SoCal and in the US. We worked at Escape. We partnered with a beverage company there. So we got to basically work and then after, rave. It was really fun.
What beverage company?
I honestly don't remember.
Right.
Yeah, it was like some seltzer company. I can look at it and like let you know later or something. But
Yeah.
it was fun. It was definitely a cool experience. Again, just how like one thing leads to another. Now we're working at Academy. If I work at Academy and I'm meeting these people there, me being in the music industry, I can attend to them and I could tell them, hey, we do these kinds of things, these kinds of services. Oh, I want to be a music producer too in the future. And once I'm done with my nursing career and I can kind of, focus more on that. What can I do to you? What can you do to me? Oh, let's connect on Instagram. Oh, give me your Instagram. I'll give you my Instagram. And then sometimes like I even would be down to like do this Diamond Mirror booth thing for them for free, just because, like I said, I don't do it for the money as much as the experience. And when they see that, they really think like, oh, this guy is genuine and he wants to really be here and be a part of this industry. So let me give him, the opportunity. And then if I do it, then they like me. Then one of his friends, who's also a DJ, might notice. And then like someone else might notice. And then boom, your network just gets really big. You know what I mean? Like one of the things we did, this was like a year and a half ago.
Right.
Some lady, she's an event planner, hit me up and said, hey, do you want to work this event? And basically be catered to LeBron James and Russell Westbrook, but it was Russell Westbrook's birthday, and we had like a private event at Nobu. So it's things that happen randomly. Like I
That's
don't even realize.
amazing.
It's cool. It's definitely cool stuff, and like it just kind of happens. And instead of me like thinking like, oh my god, like I'm the shit, I kind of sit back and see like where I came from and what I do now, and really try to like reflect, like you say, the kid who was in high school that was quiet and like was like wearing all these like solid color polos with braces and like to the kid now that's like getting involved in all these different places and is very eclectic.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh yeah,
What you
definitely.
were then? I see you. I'm very proud of you too.
I appreciate it.
I didn't know you worked with all these people, and all it reinforces is when you put a genuine attitude out there.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, people are gonna feel it, whether it's genuine or ingenuine. So when you put a genuine attitude out there for whatever it is you're trying to do, you want to be an author, a basketball player, you don't want to be in the music business, a doctor, whatever it is. When you put a genuine attitude, people will embrace that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like you said, having a genuine attitude, whether if I'm a nurse to someone or I'm someone's, provider, they can feel it. So they're going to be more inclined to like listen to me and like work with me. Or if I'm in music and I'm having a genuine attitude, people will definitely notice that and they can see that I have a passion for it. So we can connect in some sort of, mutual aspect and then work in the future together or, go to an event together, do something. And then I can utilize that in the future because of all the people that I know now. And then after like I said, I'm done with nursing,
Yeah.
I'll start producing more because I have everything. That was one of the things I did during COVID. I was like, okay, I'm going to take this time that I have, because everyone was home. No one was going anywhere. Everything was closed. So I went to Guitar Center. I bought a whole like, all the speakers and all the like everything, record box, Serato, you name it. I paid money for Ableton. Started doing it, but I never like really got into it because I was like, okay, like, yeah, we're kind of like from the same background with our kind of culture. Everyone is like, oh, doctor, lawyer,
In
doctor, lawyer.
Armenian
Yeah,
culture.
or Armenian
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
So it's not if you go to your mom and say, "Oh, I'm going to be like a music producer,"
Yeah.
that'd be like,
Yeah.
as we say, like "khafali," which kind of translates to like, like shut up, like
In
go back.
Farsi, yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
pretty
Hafali.
much as like you say in Farsi, or like like susmana, like go back and like study again. You know what I mean? They can't really see it the way others do. That's why a lot of these like DJs now, they're all like of European descent, whether they're from Netherlands or from Amsterdam or from like Spain or Europe, because over there they have more of that mindset where like we're gonna let our kids do whatever makes them happy versus it's whatever we think will make them happy. So that's one other thing that I recommend to people is like do something that makes you happy because you'll definitely be good at it. But
Absolutely.
especially nowadays in LA with all this opportunity going around. But me personally, I feel like just because of the background that I come in and all the circumstances that I've dealt with, it's more like smart to finish my main career and get into my master's in nursing, and then after take all the time that I need to do music, whether it brings me the money or the lifestyle that I would pursue and I would think I would want. Let's say being like the next DJ Snake or the next Tiesto. Even if I don't get there, I'm still gonna just do it just for fun because it's something I like enjoy as a hobby and I can connect with and I can be a part of.
Absolutely. And when you have your, your career in the medical field, it is a good idea because you have your base. So just in case anything ever happens, you have your base right there.
Yeah, of course.
And then if anything ever happens, no problem. You go back to your base and then take another shot at it, take another shot at it, and take 20 more shots.
Then
and then
something works out.
And then something works out. That's just how the world is,
Yeah, especially like you said, having a base, like with this industry, a lot of times like having a base is good because you have some sort of steady income. And the more money you have, the more you can invest in certain things. So if I do have this base, I can invest more into the travel that I would need to go to like different places, let's say to play shows or the equipment, or like, investing in having a manager and someone who does my social media, and like just kind of I can do more. I still can do it now, and a lot of people do it now. There's a lot of bedroom DJs like John Summit that blew up out of nowhere, and now they're killing it on all these different platforms. But just with having that kind of monetary stability and having that financial like freedom will definitely help more. So I'm not in any kind of rush. There is a lot of people that go into music after doing something else in their careers. A lot of DJs, like there's Idris Elba that you might know. He's an actor, and he's basically was in acting for a long time and then started producing house music. Basketball, you watch Lakers. Shaq is a dubstep DJ now, and it's hilarious because he markets himself as like the biggest DJ in the world.
He literally is.
Yeah, that's like his platform. He's the biggest DJ in the world.
Yeah.
And no one would have thought like, oh, Shaq is gonna make dubstep music, whether he produces it all himself or not. He still does it. You know what I mean? And it works. So this industry is really cool. It's very accepting of all these people. So that's how I see it. So right now I'm just making the best of it, to do what I can until I have more time as a nurse practitioner when I'm working, let's say 3 days a week and 4 days a week. I have all the time that I use to put my creativity into things where I'm involved in music and getting involved with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's interesting that you say, coming from the culture that we come from, me and you, we're both Armenian.
Yeah.
Well, you did tell me you're actually Russian and Armenian.
Yeah.
It's in a lot of immigrant mentality. It's a big immigrant mentality in a lot of minority groups that you're either a doctor, a lawyer, or engineer.
Oh yeah.
Nothing outside of that. But I think this generation coming up, we have a lot of options, and this is something GaryVee really talks about, is that it's not spoiled. It's just we have more options. We have a better chance to pursue our dreams. Whereas maybe the previous generation coming from impoverished countries, like, I came from, I was born in Iran, and we didn't have the opportunities in Iran that we do here.
Yeah.
Or even in Armenia at that time, with the Soviet Union, they didn't have those opportunities at that time. But fortunately, we do have those opportunities now. So I think it's great to, have me, you, and other people take advantage of these opportunities. I don't see a problem with that.
No, yeah, definitely. And I don't see it being wrong where our like parents and whatnot tell us like, oh, you have to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer. Because definitely those careers are definitely, there. They work. They're not going to go anywhere.
Right.
And we're always going to need those careers in the future because things always change, whether it's in the medical field and like, procedures changing or the things we use, the things we do, how like, insulin always changes, for example, things get cheaper pharmaceutically or whatnot. But like you said, nowadays we have the opportunity to make ourselves be worthwhile and to really do what makes us happy, especially like, living here in the US, living in Los Angeles, for example, with all the different kind of, like-minded people that are doing things that are outside of the box.
Mhm.
So as long as you like what you're doing and you are passionate in it and you have some sort of knowledge in it, and most importantly, you are willing to embrace the fact that you're not the best and you can learn from others, you will succeed. Because if, let's say, I make music and I'm, like a okay producer,
Mhm.
but I'm not like some god, then if I reach out to like someone and ask them for like their tutoring services, I'm not going to sit there and tell them, oh no this, oh no that, and kind of critique them when they give me advice. I'm just going to be open to listening, to seeing what they have to say, and to hearing them out for whatever reason that they are speaking to me about, so I can learn and pick things up from other people. That's one of the biggest things that I feel like I've been doing a long time. That's how I get involved to all these like different niches, and really like it helps at the long term, or in the long term, because people see that this guy is willing to learn and is very enthusiastic. And if you see that I'm willing to learn, you're going to be more inclined to teaching me, versus like if I'm being more hesitant about it,
Absolutely. Yeah.
then you're going to be like, who is this guy, wasting my time and all arrogant and, whatnot. So I think that's really important.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, man, for giving me your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me here.
It's been great. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate
and
that.
I wish you the best of luck in the music business and the medical field and all your endeavors.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.